No, Aragrid Osna much preferred the simple charm of his chateau. It looked weathered and quaint on the outside, but that was a matter of taste, to stay true to the Osna clan's humble roots. Inwardly, the entire house was lavishly filled with antique furniture, jade pottery, and ancient scrolls, most of which Aragrid never even glanced at. There were vases of pure ivory, which Aragrid himself found tacky. There were ancient ceremonial vessels of bronze, yet none of their priceless possessions were packed into the house in the gaudy manner of a miser. It was all arranged in a tasteful and orderly way, Isabel made sure of. Candles flickered at 5 points in his meditation circle, forming a pentagram. He sat at the center of the pentagram, inhaling and exhaling slowly. As he inhaled, he focused on positive thoughts. As he exhaled, he focused on negative thoughts. With each exhale, he unclenched his mind a bit, as if he were dropping all the negative thoughts and feelings that yet clung to his mind. Such was the standard meditation practice. Such was karma control. Such was a second nature to a man like Aragrid Osna, who sat at the right hand of the Light King himself. And none of it was working. None of it helped. None of his lifetime's worth of training the mind was worth a damn right there and then. He could not cleanse the fear and self-doubt from his mind, all brought up by the latest orders of his king. It drove him mad with fear, the task laid before him. He knew the fault was in himself, not his liege. All times prior, he could feel each ounce of negative karma escaping his mind, as if he were shoveling out of his psyche bit by bit. But now, each time he tried to dip into the dark recesses of his mind to pull a bit out, he felt like he was plunging into a vast chasm of dread. Even approaching that part of his mind felt like teetering on the brink of oblivion. Next, he tried his clan's motto: all things by their proper name, all seasons in their proper time. Such was the sacred motto of the Osna clan, passed down from generation to generation. The words themselves were nothing special, but they contained a hidden meaning within them. The great lords referred to it as the mantra behind the motto, and the patriarch of the household passed it on to his son and heir since time immemorable. As his father passed him the family secret, the lesson that taught the heir the hidden meaning of use of the words, that mantra became the karma of his most valuable weapon. The secret clan mantra, and his father's last lesson to him specifically, was a cherished memory. For a father to entrust his son and heir to the secrets of his clan is a great honor. But even the Osna mantra was useless. Reflecting on this fact made Aragrid feel just as useless. As the hours passed away, he now and then rested from his meditation. Before him lay his mirror of destiny. Each man with a pivotal role in the Light King's grand design was given such a mirror. Looking into the mirror gave a man a glimpse into his unalterable destiny. It was how the Light King showed his most faithful servants what epic deeds of glory lay ahead of them, what glorious plans their good lord and master made specifically for each person in whom he found favor. Each time Aragrid cast his gaze upon his mirror, it felt like he was stealing a glimpse of heaven itself. Though his mind could easily be corrupted by his own transgressions, the Light King's mirrors could not be touched by anything which lacked wholeness. Looking into his light mirror, he saw himself seated at his king's right hand. He saw his deceased older brothers, who had always mocked and belittled him merely for his bastard birth. Now they were bowing before him. Each one of his foes of the inner circle kneeled before Aragrid, shamefaced and bowing, pleading for mercy. He always forgave his former foes, of course, for he now ruled beside the King of Light himself, and was benevolent where his earthly foes had been malicious and spiteful. Once you're actually in the eternal spring of everlasting bliss, Aragrid supposed, it would be hard to be bothered by trivial vengeance. It was respect he had always wanted anyway. He also saw an idealized version of his wife in his light mirror as well. With the glow of her beauty amplified by the mirror's cosmic karma, she was so beautiful that it almost hurt to look on her. He felt himself growing aroused by the sight. They had not made love in months now, and he missed the feel of her beside him. Yet he cursed himself inwardly at the very thought of consummating his love for her as he was now. With the feeble state his mind was currently in, nothing could result from such a union but weak and feeble seed. Thankfully for Eregrid, Isabel was highborn and well-educated. Yet at his weakest moments he sometimes wished she were not. He ached for the warmth of her, and as night fell away and the sun began its slow arc into the summer sky, memories of her materialized before him. He inwardly wanted to laugh sardonically at the absurdity of bringing forth the memory of one who was but a few feet down the hall. Yet the mind marks what it will, even minds as well educated as Eregrid's. Once he began hearing the birds of the forest sing their songs, he abandoned his meditation attempts. As he walked into the front room of his chateau, he found Isabel already up and about, making them both green tea. She still wore her silk nightgown, and her long, almond-colored hair was unkempt. Right as she saw him, she immediately tossed more tea leaves into the pot, trying to make the gesture look nonchalant. Despite his immense wariness, he found himself smiling at the gesture. "I'll tell the children not to disturb you this morning," she said. His late father's ivory-gilded pipe materialized in his hands. He tried smiling, but by her reaction to his face, it must have looked more like a grimace. "It's the last day before the keep days, isn't it?" He took a drag. Then, "No, I won't deprive them of that. I know how much they value our time here." "My lord, you shouldn't deprive yourself of rest." He shrugged. "I, too, value it." "Very well." They sat on the living room mat around the circular table. The table moved on a pivot, spinning at their leisure when they desired a dish from the other side. At the center of the table was a stationary basin of water for washing their hands. Eregrid merely sampled his breakfast, giving more attention to his antique pipe. It was one of his prized possessions, not because it was a priceless relic from a bygone age. It belonged to his father. He felt a strange desire to remember the feel of his father's karma that morning. Damn it. "Nothing in heaven or earth, in flesh or spirit, shall stand between this union," she remarked dryly. Eregrid laughed, realizing he had been imprinting a memory of his deceased father. He sat between the two of them on a mat. The verse she intoned had been ceremoniously intoned by a priest during their wedding 15 years ago. He enjoyed the double meaning of her quip, that the imprint was literally occupying the space between them, and that the uneducated peasants literally consider such imprints of memory to be ghosts from the spirit realm. "I'm sorry, I know how you don't like when I bring him up," he said. With a conscious effort, the imprint of his father faded into the void. "I think it's sweet how you remember him after all this time. It shows you honor him still." "Hardly. I didn't even let you convince me of getting a portrait of him made." "In hindsight, I think you had the right of it. I didn't realize at the time that most men get portraits made so as not to be bothered by actually remembering themselves. I am not most men. I have realized." He examined his pipe. I guess I too am a relic of a bygone era." He must have sounded a bit too gloomy and self-depreciating when he made the comment, because she looked at him with concern. Her eyes were a vibrant green that still managed to captivate him by their beauty. They perfectly fit her noble face. "I think," she began cautiously, "you are much like the homestead we love so dearly, traditional and rustic by outward appearance, but a priceless treasure inwardly." He smiled, or at least tried to. The disquiet that had plagued him all night was slowly creeping back in. His eyelids yet again felt heavy.